Up with the heels, down with the wall, up with the heels, down with the sacrum. If you notice that they're losing pressure with the sacrum, just wiggle your toes. If your partner's eyes pop out of their heads, you wiggled your toes too much. So for those of you who are new to this and have never done the actual ELDOA class before, I'll give you guys a little bit of a breakdown about what exactly we're going to be doing today. So we start all the classes with a cardio warm-up, and then we get into an osteoarticular warm-up, which is basically just some joint mobilizations to help lubricate all the joints of the body. Then we're going to get into some proprioception work, just to get all the ligaments and everything firing in, particularly the hips and the low back. And then we're going to get it started with the actual workout. The workout, we're going to be doing some segmental strengthening, then we're going to do some myofascial stretching, and then we're going to finish off with some ELDOAs before doing the cool down. The warm-up's going to take about 15 minutes, and then the actual workout itself is going to be about 45 minutes, and then we're going to do a 5-minute cool down at the end. And yeah, it's about time, so we're going to go ahead and get started. So for the first part of the warm-up, what you guys are going to do is just do some very gentle raises. You're just going to roll and unroll your foot. Then you're going to start to bring your arms out. So you're going to do kind of like a marching and slowly start to lift your toes off the ground. And then you're just going to pick up the pace a little bit, get the knees a little bit higher, swing the arms a little bit more. And try and get the knees to parallel to the ground. A little bit quicker with the arms now. And now we're going to start to incorporate the arms a little bit more. So you're going to take the arms, bring them out right in front, and you are going to squeeze your shoulder blades together, keeping your elbows above your shoulders, and then go out to the front. And then at your own pace, you're just going to keep going forward to backward. When you come back, you want to make sure that your chin stays tucked in so you're not sticking your head out. And the crown of your head, you're pushing it up toward the ceiling. You also want to do your best to maintain retroversion of the pelvis so you're not sticking your butt out. Now we're going to do 4 front to back. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up and down. 4. You could pick up the pace a little bit. The whole purpose of this warm-up is to get your body, well, basically warm, and to get the blood flowing, especially it's early in the morning, you probably just woke up. Well, depending on where you live, you just woke up. So if we go right into the workout, your joints are probably going to be a little bit stiff, so this is really going to help. Now we're going to do 2 forward, 2 up. Now 1 forward, 1 up. Now we're just going to go up. Your body should be feeling pretty warm right about now.
Shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah, this right over here, particularly for the men, a lot of guys are going to really start to find their shoulders are on fire just from this little warm-up, just from holding your arms up. The women are usually a lot better with this one. Ooh. All right, now we're going to go a lot faster with the hands. So up, 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 up. your shoulders are getting tired, you need a little bit of a break, you can just put them by your sides. Now we're gonna slowly start to slow down and come to a stop. Next, we're gonna do the osteoarticular mobilizations. For this one over here, we're gonna start at the ground, work our way up. So get your feet together. We're gonna do some calf raises. So get as high onto your toes as you can. Five more. 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to do the opposite. We're going to dorsiflex. So point your toes toward your head. Five more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now we're going to do inversion and eversion. So just get your feet about shoulder width apart. You're going to point your heels out one way and then switch to the other side. If you want to incorporate your arms a little bit, you could even do the Carlton. When you're doing this, try your best to keep your upper body completely stationary. You want all the movement coming from your lower body. So if you were to do this in front of a mirror with a crack, ideally from your forehead down to your belly button, you would want that to stay on the crack. All right, now we're gonna bring the heels together. We're gonna warm up the knees. So squat down, drive your knees as far past your toes as you can without letting your heels come up off the ground. There's going to be a lot of people to tell you that you should not squat with your knees past your toes, but if you have healthy knees, this should not be an issue for you. And if you think squatting with your knees past your toes is bad, tell that to every back catcher in baseball.
Olympic weightlifters.
Yeah. Now we're going to start to go skiing, left to right. Now we're going to draw some circles with the knees. So you're going to squat down, draw a nice circle. And now we're going to switch direction of the circle. Now, if you can, draw some figure eights with your knees.
Dancing, baby.
Yeah. Switch direction of the circle, of the figure eights. Going to do a couple more, and then we're going to start to do some osteoarticulations for the hip. All right, now you're going to stand up, get your feet wider than your mat. Your toes, you're going to point them inside. You're going to go into anti-version of the pelvis, so you're going to stick your butt out. And then retroversion, you're going to tuck your pelvis underneath you. So we have Instagram model, reality. Instagram, reality. Put your arms out to the side, extension of elbows and wrists. And we're going to do the retroversion with the arms extended. Next, we're going to start to warm up the lumbar spine. For the lumbar spine, put one arm down to the side, keep the retroversion of the pelvis, chin tucked in, crown of the head up. Your hand, you're going to place it by your ear. You're not going to be pulling on your head, you just want it lightly touching around your ear. And then using your belly button as your fulcrum, what you want to do is you're going to turn to the side, so you're going to do a side bend, and you want to try and get all the movement from your lumbar spine. So you don't want to shift your whole body. Try, imagine that if there was something going right through your belly button, it's going to be rotating around that fulcrum. We're going to do 10 more. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to switch sides. So extension, external rotation, and let's go. Going to do 10 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you're going to place both hands by your ears, and we're going to do some positive torsion by trying to bring the elbow to the opposite knee. When we're doing this one, we want to make sure that all the movement's coming from the torso. So you're not bringing your arm forward. You're just going to twist as much as you can to bring the elbow to the opposite knee. If you can't touch, that's not a problem. That's not the goal. The goal is to start mobilizing the lumbar and thoracic spine. You're going to do one more each side. All right, next, you're going to take your arms, extension of elbows and wrists, maximal external rotation. Get the legs outside of your mat, toes pointing in, retroversion of the pelvis, chin tucked in. And what we're going to do for this one is you want to distract your arms. So push your arms away from your body. Then you're going to abduct toward the sky. Get your arms straight up overhead. Bring your shoulders out in front of you. Tuck the elbows in. Open up, touch the opposite shoulder blade. And now same thing, arms down. Push away as much as you can as you're lifting, out in front. Tuck in the elbows, open up, and try to touch the opposite shoulder blades. This is the shoulder mobilization. Now we're going to reverse direction. So we're going to touch, bring the arms out, up overhead, out to the side. Touch the back of the shoulder blades, open up, out. We're going to do 3 more in this direction. Touch the shoulder blades, open up, out. 2 more. And last one. Open up. Messed up the order, but that's okay. All right, and lastly, we're just going to warm up the cervical spine a little bit. So we're going to go into a turtleneck and then military posture. So turtle, you are sticking your head out as much as you can, and then military, You're sticking your chin in, pushing the crown of the head up. So out, and in. Turtle, military. Turtle is your texting posture. If you do a lot of texting or a lot of work on the computer, definitely you'd want to work on a lot more retraction. Okay, that's it for the cardio and osteoarticular warm-up. Next, we're going to start to do some proprioception work. For the first one, we're going to do proprioception of the hip. This is going to be a general proprioception. So what we're going to do is pick a knee. So I'm going to be doing my right knee first. If you do have issues with your knees, you can even double up on the yoga mat just to get a little bit more support. And all you're going to do, put your arms out to the side, and you want to balance on one leg. There's different progressions for this one. The easiest is if you have your toes tucked underneath you like you're doing a push-up. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you could put your foot flat on the floor. And then if that's still too easy, you could balance just on your knee and take your feet off the floor so you just have one point of contact. And then finally, you would close your eyes, and that would make it even more challenging. Do 10 more seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to switch sides. Exact same thing. Put your arms out to the side. Lift your foot off the floor, and you are just going to balance on one leg. Same thing, tuck your toes underneath you. That's going to be the easiest variation. You want to make it a little bit more challenging, then you could flatten your foot on the floor. Next progression, if this is still too easy for you, you can lift your foot off the floor and balance just on your knee. And then the most challenging, if this is still too easy for you, you can close your eyes. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Next, we're going to do some proprioception for the sacroiliac joints. For this one over here, we're going to get back toward the edge of our mats. The easiest, you can start with your heels on the ground and then your ischial tuberosities. So where your sit bones are, where your hamstrings attached to, you want to sit onto those. The easiest variation, you can just put your arms right out in front. You're going to move forward with one leg and just walk toward the front of your mat. Once you reach the front of your mat, you're going to start to walk backward. If you have issues with hips or low back pain, this is going to be a great proprioception exercise to do before your workout. This is still part of the warm-up. We're going to be starting the workout in about 2 minutes.
Sure.
Now, if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you could do the walking on your sit bones, but lift your heels up off the ground. So now you're just walking on your ischial tuberosities without letting your heels touch. Once you get to the bottom of your mat, you're going to reverse. We're going to do one more pass forward and back, and then we're going to move on to the lumbar spine proprioception. All right, for the lumbar spine, very similar to what we did, only we're going to be rolling back a little bit more. So you can grab a hold of your shins and kind of roll down onto your sacrum a little bit. lift your heels up off the ground. If you feel nice and comfortable and stable, you can relax your arms out to the side and just hold on. And then if you want to make it even a little bit more challenging, you can start to play around with your feet, move your arms around. If you have some balls around, you can juggle. Kind of move the directions all over the place. Open up. If you have a partner, you guys can slap each other, try to throw each other off balance. 10 more seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's it for the warm-up. Now we're going to get started with the actual workout. For the workout, we're going to be doing some glute max strengthening for the deep fibers. This first variation, you guys are going to lie down on your back. You want your heels roughly hip width apart. Your knees, you're going to squeeze them together and touch. You're going to go into retroversion of the pelvis, flatten out your lumbar spine, your arms at the glenohumeral angle, which is at the level of your forehead or just a little bit higher. Keep your chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up, and then what we want to do for this one is you want to roll and unroll your spine one vertebrae at a time. So you're lifting your sacrum off the floor, then L5, 4, 3, 2, 1, until you can go as much into hip extension as possible. And then you're going to reverse. So one vertebrae at a time, try to lower down to the ground. So L1, 2, 3, 4, 5, sacrum. And we're going to do this for about 45 seconds. With this one of the most important things is making sure that your navicular is staying pinned to the ground, so the medial arch of your foot, so flatten out that foot, and your knees are staying tucked together. Really make sure to keep that retroversion of the pelvis so you're not sticking your butt out. And now we're going to hold it at the top for 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come back down to the bottom, bring your feet together. We're going to do the exact same thing. So knees are together, feet are together, and you're lifting your pelvis up off the ground. Go with as much hip extension as you can without losing the retroversion of the pelvis. Try to go one vertebrae at a time from your sacrum all the way up to your lumbar and thoracic spine. You're keeping your chin tucked in, pushing the crown of your head away from you. With your eyes, you can look down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. That first one that we did before this was for the lateral fibers of the glute max, so the outermost fibers. This one is a little bit more medial. This is the medial lateral fibers. So if you were to cut your glutes in half, the outside would be the lateral portion, the inside would be the medial. And then if you were to subdivide that even further, we would have the lateral on the farthest side, outside to the outside, and then the medial lateral would be right next to that on the inside. That's what we're working on right now. Hold it at the top. We're going to do this for 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, heels hip width apart, knees hip width apart. This is going to be the typical hip bridge that you see most people do in the gym. And this is for the lateral medial fibers. So now we're getting closer toward the crack. If you have really, really weak hamstrings, you might even feel this in the hamstrings as well. And good news for you, if your hamstrings are starting to burn, the next exercise is actually a hamstring exercise. So really try to maintain that retroversion of the pelvis. You're pushing that navicular down to the ground, so you're flattening out the arch. one vertebrae at a time, keeping your chin tucked in, pushing the crown of the head away from you. With your eyes, look down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And now we're going to hold it at the top for 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Last one. Bring your feet together. Keeping your navicular down to the ground, you want to separate your knees as much as you can without letting that navicular raise. So try to flatten your arch, and then as soon as you notice the arch starts to come off, that's where you want to stop with your knees. Everything else is exactly the same. Retroversion of the pelvis, one vertebrae at a time, chin tucked in, push the crown of your head away from you. With your eyes, look between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. And go into as much hip extension as possible without losing the retroversion of the pelvis. This is the last of the glute exercises, the glute max. This is for the deep fibers of the medial fibers, so closest to the crack. We're going to hold it at the top position for 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down. If you need some water, go ahead and grab it. Next, we're going to be focusing on the semimembranosus. So semimembranosus is one of your three hamstring muscles. You have the semimembranosus, which is closest to the midline, semitendinosus, which is right down the middle, and then the biceps femoris to the outside. For this one, we want to get into the terminator position. So you're going to get into the half kneeling position, arms on either side of your foot. Then because we're focusing on the semimembranosus, your foot, you want to place it outside of your knee. So your ankle's outside of your knee. And then you want to try and bring your heel toward your opposite glute. So you're coming up on a diagonal. And this is going to be for the semimembranosus, the intermediate fibers. If you're able to, you could even do some rotation of the tibia. So you could start in external rotation when your ankle's outside of the knee, and then go into internal rotation just to get a little bit more activation. Now we're going to hold it at the top position. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we're going to go back into the next set. The semimembranosus is responsible for, one of the actions is responsible for knee flexion, so you want to try and get as much knee flexion as possible. If you can't actually touch your butt, that's fine. Most people aren't going to be able to do that. Just get as much flexion as you can. And if you do, if your knee's bothering you, you can roll up the mat a little bit. That way you get a little extra support. Hold it at the top. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last set. And hold it. Okay, now we're going to switch legs. So the foot that was on the floor is now going to be kneeling. And then same thing, your ankle is to the outside. You can start out in external rotation of the tibia, and then you can flex your knee to the opposite glute and try and go into medial rotation of the tibia. And hold it at the top. And set number 2. And hold it. Gonna hold it here for 10 more seconds. And then we have one more set. And then we're gonna move on to the posterior fibers of the glute medius. Okay, last set. And hold it at the top. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. All right, that's it for the hamstrings. Next, we are going to move on to the posterior fibers of the gluteus medius. For this one, you're going to be in a side lying position. What you want to do with the bottom leg is you're going to flex your hip, grab a hold of your shin with your top arm. You could use your arm just to relax your head. And then with your top leg, you're going to bring it up to 90 degrees. You're going to flex your hip to 90 degrees. You're going to keep a slight flex in your knee. This is going to be to release the tension on the tensor fasciolati muscle and get a little bit more activation on the glute medius. And then you're just going to raise your leg as high as you can into abduction. And we're going to do this for about 20 repetitions. You could also go into dorsiflexion of the ankle, inversion, and some medial rotation. Hold it at the top. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back down. Hold it at the top. And back down. Got one more round.
Oh, you suck.
Of all the glute medius exercises, this is my least favorite one. Every time I do it, my butt feels like it's on fire.
Oh boy, that's a good one. Wow.
So if you don't have access to the yes please no thank you machines, this is a great alternative.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, no,
Hold it at the top. And relax. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So your bottom leg, you're going to flex the hip and knee to 90 degrees, grab a hold of your shin with the top arm. Your top leg, you're going to flex the hip to 90, slight bend in the knee to release the tension on the tensor fasciolati muscle, dorsiflexion of the toes, inversion, medial rotation, and up. It's going to be interesting to see how my deadlifts go today after this workout. And hold the leg at the top. And set number 2. Hold it at the top. Set number 3, last one. Last one, hold it, 15 seconds. And relax. That is it for the lower body. Now we're going to start to do some upper body strengthening. And we are going to start with the rhomboid major. For the rhomboid major.
Oh, great.
This is one that a lot of people are going to need.
Especially for me.
Yeah, if you do any texting or computer work. So for the rhomboid major, you're going to be lying down on your stomach. You want to pin your chin to the ground. You want to place your arms at the glenohumeral angle, so arms roughly at the level of your forehead or slightly higher. And then what you want to do is you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together as hard as you can. So imagine there's a pencil between your shoulder blades. You want to squish that pencil, and you're going to lift your hands as high off the ground as possible.
I got it.
If you have any type of shoulder or neck issues, this will be a really good exercise. A lot of people are going to have really taut rhomboid majors. When a muscle is taut, it means it's being constantly stretched. So this is going to help to strengthen those muscles and improve posture in the thoracic spine. And hold it at the top. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Keep those elbows extended. And set number 2. Hold it at the top, elbows extended, squeeze the shoulder blades together. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got one more round. And last one, hold it at the top. Squeeze those shoulder blades together, elbows straight. And relax. That's it for the rhomboid major. Next, we're going to work on the posterior deltoid. For the posterior deltoid, you're going to get nice and tall on your knees, your arms down by your sides. Extension of elbows and wrists, maximum external rotation. And then you're going to, keeping your chin tucked in, crown of the head up, bring your arms back, and just really try to go into as much shoulder extension as possible. This is another really good exercise for anybody that has any type of postural issues. So if you have hyperkyphosis or medially rotated shoulders, this will be a really good one to add into your program. And hold it at the back, really squeeze your shoulder blades together and go into as much extension of the shoulder as you can. Keep that external rotation. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Set number 2. Remember to keep that external rotation. Full extension of elbows, as much shoulder extension as possible. Squeeze, hold it at the top. Maintain that retroversion of the pelvis. Make sure your chin is tucked in, crown of the head up. As much external rotation as possible, as much shoulder extension as possible. And relax. Last round. Make sure you're keeping that pelvis in retroversion. Don't stick the butt out. Keep that chin tucked in. Keep those elbows extended. External rotation. 5 more. 3, 2, 1. Hold it at the top. And relax. Next, we are going to work on the inferior trapezius. For this one, we are in the same position that we were for the rhomboid major. What we're going to do for this one, your arms are by your sides and your palms are going to be facing the ceiling. You want to try to squeeze your shoulder blades together and bring your shoulder blades down into your back pocket. So the way that you can think of that is keeping your elbows straight. Imagine that you were trying to bring your hands into your opposite pockets. So if you were wearing jeans with pockets, you're trying to bring your hands inside of them. You don't have to actually get your hands to that position. You just want to have the intention of bringing your arms down and across. So again, pin your chin down to the ground. Palms up to the ceiling and lift up and try to get your hands into the opposite pockets. This is another muscle that is really weak in most people. In about 17 years of assessing people, I don't think I've ever met one person where this muscle had adequate strength, myself included. A lot of people are going to have really overactivated upper trapezius, and then the inferior trapezius is going to be really weak. So this is another terrific exercise for anybody with any type of shoulder pains. Hold it at the top. Even if you don't have pain, if you're somebody that likes to do a lot of things like bench pressing, if this muscle is weak, this is really going to hinder your bench press. So by adding an exercise like this, relax, we're going to do it a second set. This could even help with things like your bench pressing. And hold it at the top. Really try to depress those shoulder blades and squeeze them together as much as you can. Keep those elbows straight, palms up to the ceiling. And that's it. We got one more round. Hold it at the top, 15 seconds. And relax. That's it for the upper body strengthening. Next, we're going to move on to the torso. So we're going to start to strengthen the rectus abdominis. Right now, this is the rectus abdominis. We're focusing on the supra-umbilical, so from the belly button up. For this one, you can get nice and tall with your spine. Keeping your hands nice and light on your shins, you're going to try to just roll down onto your sacrum and then just come right back up. The first couple of repetitions, you're not going too intense. Just roll onto the sacrum. Then you could grab a hold of your hamstrings, get a little bit lower. So sacrum, L1, L2, and then back up. If that's too easy for you, you could grab a hold of your hamstrings a little bit lower down, closer to the glutes. Try and get a little deeper. So roll onto the sacrum, L5, L4, L3, and then back up, L3, L4, L5, sacrum. And then lastly, if that's still too easy, bring the arms out in front and try and roll down to the level of your L3, which is roughly at the level of your belly button. We're going to hold it here for 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up to the top. Same thing, we're going to roll and unroll. Try and do one vertebrae at a time. Try to focus on maintaining the retroversion of the pelvis. It's going to get more rectus abdominis activation because the rectus abdominis attaches to the pubic symphysis. So by maintaining retroversion, you're activating your rectus abdominis a lot more. On the next one, you're going to hold it at the bottom position. Five more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and last round. Last one, we're going to hold it at the bottom. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to go on to our backs. We're going to do the rectus abdominis subumbilical, so the belly button below, the lower abdominals. What we're going to do for this one is you're lying down on your back. Retroversion of the pelvis, flat spine, arms are at the glenohumeral angle. You're going to flex hips and knees to 90 degrees. Your knees, you want to drive them up toward the ceiling without going into hip flexion or hip extension. So you want to try and maintain perpendicular to the ground, and you want to try and lift your knees one vertebrae at a time until you get to the level of your L3 or roughly the level of your belly button. So you're going up and back down, up, back down. This is a very subtle movement. You're not doing a whole ton of lifting. And really try to maintain your femurs perpendicular to the ground. So you want to try to avoid going into flexion of the hips. Now we're going to hold it at the top, so you're going to lift up your butt, lift your sacrum up off the ground, hold it for 15 seconds, and relax. Going to do set number 2 now. And hold it at the top. And relax. We go one more set. And let's go. Hold it at the top. And relax. Roll onto your sides. If you need a little bit of water, go ahead and grab some water. And that's it for the segmental strengthening. Next, we're going to move on to the myofascial stretching. For the myofascial stretching, we're going to start with the psoas major. So we're going to do a couple for the lower body, a couple for the upper. For the psoas major, you are going to get into a half kneeling position. The knee that is on the floor, that is going to be the psoas that we are stretching. So you're going to start the ankle, you're going to bring it outside of the knee. You're going to shift your hips forward, go into hip extension. Retroversion of the pelvis. The foot that's on the ground, you're going to just slide that over to the side. Then go into abduction of the hip by moving toward that leg. Your arms are going to be out in front, external rotation, maximum extension of elbows and wrists. You're going to side bend away from the knee that's on the floor, rotate toward that side, keep your chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up, push your palms out away from you. So make sure that you're maintaining all points of contact. So ankle out to the side, retroversion of the pelvis, go into hip extension, keep the abduction by moving over to the opposite leg, keep that side flexion, and so we have the contralateral side flexion, ipsilateral rotation. So you're bending away from the leg that's on the floor, and you're rotating toward the side. Keep that chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up, push out with the palms of your hands. 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out of it. Now we're going to do same thing on the opposite side. So the ankle, outside of the knee. Shift your hips forward to go into hip extension. Retroversion of the pelvis. Walk your foot over. Translate your body over to get into abduction of the hip. Arms out in front. Extension of elbows and wrists. Maximal external rotation. Side bend away from the knee that's on the floor. Rotate toward it. All from the lumbar spine. Keep your chin tucked in. Crown of the head up. So you're pushing out with the ankle. Extending that hip, retroverting the pelvis. Keep that chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up. Side bending away from the knee, rotating toward it. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out of it. Next, we are going to do the myofascial stretching for the rectus femoris. This one, we are in a similar position. We're in that half kneeling position. Again, the knee that's on the floor is the knee that we are going to be stretching. What you want to do is plant the hand of the knee that's on the floor. With the opposite hand, you're going to grab a hold of your ankle. You want to try and get your heel to touch your butt and bring it across the midline. If you feel comfortable, you're going to get nice and tall. Once you feel nice and stable, bring your arm out in front, extension of elbow and wrist, maximal external rotation, arm into flexion, straight up so that it's in line with the ear. Maintain that retroversion of the pelvis. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. The most important thing, the rectus femoris is responsible for anteversion of the pelvis, flexion of the hip, and extension of the knee. So we want to reverse engineer all those actions, going into as much retroversion as possible of the pelvis, as much hip extension, and as much knee flexion as possible to get maximum stretch of the rectus femoris muscle. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out of it. Switch sides. So your foot's in front. Plant your hand on the ground. Grab a hold of your ankle with the opposite arm. Try to get your heel to touch your butt. Bring it across the midline. Once you feel nice and stable, get nice and tall. Once you feel comfortable, get your shoulder out, extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation. Arm straight up overhead. So you're maintaining retroversion of the pelvis, hip extension, and maximum knee flexion. Keep that chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up. 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out of it. And that is it for the lower body stretching. Next, we're going to start to stretch the upper body. For the upper body, we're going to start with the pectoralis major. So for the pectoralis major, you're going to lie down on your stomach. We're going to be working on the superficial fibers. The superficial fibers have a connection to the rectus abdominis. So what we want to do to get maximum tension on the superficial fibers is we're going to spread our legs. That way the adductors are going to pull on the pubic symphysis. Then we are going to flex our knees to go into anteversion of the pelvis to get a little bit more of a stretch on the rectus, which is going to transfer to the superficial fibers of the pec. Whatever arm you are stretching, so I'm going to be doing my right, so the right arm's going to go out to the side. The left hand, like you're getting ready to do a push-up, put it underneath. You want to look away from the side that you are stretching. So if you're stretching the right, place your right ear on the floor so that you're looking to your left. From this position, you want to go into extension of elbow and wrist, external rotation. Try and pin your shoulder blade down to the ground. Keep your chin tucked in, crown of the head up. And then with the hand that's flat on the floor, you're going to push and roll onto your shoulder as much as you can until you feel a nice stretch in the pec. And we're going to hold this for 30 seconds. So the legs are spread apart, anteversion of the pelvis, flexion of the knees, dorsiflexion and eversion of the ankles. Your shoulders at the glenohumeral angle, so at your forehead or just above. Extension of elbow and wrist, maximal external rotation. Ears touching the ground, you're looking at the opposite side, and your hand is pushing to roll onto the shoulder. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out of it. And now we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So your legs are spread apart, flexing your knees, dorsiflexing your ankles, everting the ankles, arm out to the side at the glenohumeral angle, opposite hand underneath your armpit. With the arm that's extended, you are extending the shoulder and elbow, maximal external rotation, pin your shoulder blade or pin your shoulder down to the ground, and you're going to use your hands to push yourself and roll onto your shoulder. And this is for the myofascial stretch for the superficial fibers of the pectoralis major. Now 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out of it. And next we're going to do the myofascial stretch for the biceps brachii. For the myofascial stretch for the biceps brachii, you're going to be sitting nice and tall. Biceps brachii is responsible for 3 main actions: shoulder flexion, elbow flexion, and supination of the forearm. So we want to reverse engineer all those actions by going into shoulder extension, bringing the arms behind you, elbow extension, so straighten out the arms, and then we are going into pronation of the forearm by having your palms facing the ceiling. Now we're going to roll the shoulder blades back to get a little bit more shoulder extension. And we want to create a valgus force at the elbows, so imagine that you're trying to bring your elbows toward your spine, so you're straightening them out as much as possible. Keep that chin tucked in, push the crown of the head toward the ceiling. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. So really focus on maintaining that shoulder extension, elbow extension, pronation of the forearm. Really roll those shoulder blades back. Keep that chin tucked in, push the crown of the head up. 15 seconds. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and slowly come out of it. And that was it for the myofascial stretching. Next, we are going to move on to the ELDOAs. For the ELDOAs, the very first one is going to be the L4, L5. So for this one, your heels are going to be at the level of your ischial tuberosities. If you don't know where those are, they're your sit bones roughly one fist width apart. So you can make a fist, put it right in between your heels, and that's roughly going to be the width of your ischial tuberosities. You're then going to flex your knees to 90 degrees. While we're getting set up, you can hold onto your shins, that way you don't get tired. From this point, you're going to dorsiflex your ankles, evert your ankles, and then go into abduction and external rotation of the femur by lowering your knees down toward the ground. And this is going to activate your glutes. From this position, take one arm at a time, go into shoulder flexion, elbow extension, extension of the wrist, maximal external rotation, arm up overhead. Do the same thing with the opposite arm. Keep that chin tucked in, try to maintain a nice tall spine. So you're pushing down with the knees, dorsiflexing at the ankles, everting at the ankles. Keep the arms straight up overhead, external rotation of the wrists of the shoulders, maximum extension of wrists and elbows. Keep that chest nice and tall, chin tucked in, crown of the head up. Push those knees down. Chest up, chest up, chest up. Knees down, chest up. Crown of the head up, chin tucked in. 15 seconds. Knees down, chest up, crown of the head up. Slowly, one arm at a time, grab a hold of your shins and relax everything. That was the L4, L5 ELDOA. Next, we're going to be doing the T8, T9 ELDOA. For the T8, T9, same thing with the feet. We have our heels at the level of our ischial tuberosities. Grab a hold of your shins, maintain a nice tall spine, and you're going to bring your knees, your heels toward your chest. And you want to go as much as you can without letting your spine round. As soon as your spine starts to round, that's where you're going to stop. From this position, pushing the navicular down, so you're flattening out the arch. You're externally rotating at the tibia, internally rotating at the femurs. One arm at a time, extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, arm up overhead. Same thing with the other arm, chin tucked in, crown of the head up. So keep that navicular down, you're flattening out the arch, external rotation of the tibia, internal rotation of the femur, keep the knees tucked in, arms up, chin tucked in, crown of the head up, chest up, chest up, chest up. Keep those knees tucked in, stay nice and tall. "15 seconds, get nice and tall, arms up, knees tucked in, and slowly come out of it." That's the T8, T9. Next we're going to do the C6, E7. For this one, you're lying down on your back. You're going to flex your hips until your sacrum comes up off the ground. You want to keep your abdominals nice and relaxed. You're going to dorsiflex your ankles, evert your ankles. Your arms are going to be down by your side. Extension of elbow and wrist, maximal external rotation. Your chin is tucked in, crown of the head away from you. Your eyes, you're looking down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Push your palms away from your body and push the crown of your head away from your body. Your head, you want to lift it 1 centimeter off the ground, so roughly 1 fingertip of space between the base of your skull and the floor. And you're going to maintain this position for 1 minute. So sacrum's up off the ground, ankles are dorsiflexed and everted. Your hips are flexed to relax the abdominals. Maximum extension of elbow and wrist. Maximum external rotation. Chin is tucked in, crown of the head away from you. With your eyes, you're looking between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. 1 centimeter between the back of your head and the floor. 30 seconds. Push out with the palms, out with the palms, out with the palms. With the crown of your head, push away from your body. So out with the palms, away with the crown. Out with the palms, away with the crown. 15 seconds. And put one hand behind the back of your head. We're going to slowly come out of it. Lower your head to the ground.
Lower one foot to the ground at a time. And that was it for the actual workout. Now we are going to move on to the cool down. For the cool down, we're going to start with the transverse abdominis. For the transverse abdominis, we are going to lie down on our backs. For this one, we want to inhale and raise the belly as high as possible. This is going to give us a nice pre-stretch in the abdominals. Then you're going to exhale, try to bring your belly button down toward your spine. Now without letting your belly raise, you're going to inhale, keep the belly down. So inhale, exhale, try and drive the belly even further down toward the spine. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, drive it down toward the spine. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, drive it down toward the spine a little bit more. One more time. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, drive it down. And now inhale, relax. Round number 2. Inhale to the belly, get it nice and tall. Get a nice pre-stretch. Exhale, drive the belly down toward the spine. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, drive it lower to the spine. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, down to spine. Inhale, keep it tucked in. Exhale, down to spine. Inhale. Exhale. Really drive that belly down. One more time. Inhale. Keep the belly tucked in. And exhale, drive it down to the spine. And now relax. So just take a nice big deep breath normally. Nice big inhale. Raise the belly as high to the sky as you can. We're going to do one more round. Exhale. Lower the belly down toward the spine. Inhale. Keep it tucked in. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Keep that belly tucked in. Exhale. Drive it down to the spine. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Keep it tucked in. Exhale. Drive the belly down to the spine. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Get it as low as you can down toward the spine. And relax. Normal breath. Now we're going to do some diaphragmatic breathing. For this one right over here, you can just place your hands on your belly. You're going to take a nice deep breath in. Raise your belly as high to the sky as you can. And now exhale. And let your belly collapse. Inhale, raise the belly. Exhale, allow it to collapse. One more time. Inhale, raise the belly. Exhale, allow it to collapse. Now we're going to breathe in through the chest. So you're going to relax the abdominals. Take a nice deep breath in. Raise the chest as high as you can. And exhale. Inhale to the chest. Exhale, let out all the air. Inhale, really try to expand that rib cage. Exhale, relax. Now we're going to inhale to the belly, raise it as high as you can. Once it's as high as you can, hold your breath. You're going to transfer the breath from your belly to your chest. And now exhale. Now you're going to inhale to the chest, really expand that rib cage as much as you can. Transfer the breath from your chest to your belly. And exhale. Now you're going to inhale to the belly. Transfer the breath to your chest. Hold it there. Transfer the breath back to your belly. Exhale. Inhale to the chest. Transfer the breath to the belly. Transfer the breath back up to the chest. Exhale. And now we're going to just do a couple belly breaths. So inhale to the belly. And exhale. One more. Inhale, nice deep breath. And that is it for the diaphragmatic breathing. We have one exercise left, and that is going to be the L5S1 ELDOA. If you have a partner, you can do this with a partner. If you don't have a partner, you can do this one up against the wall. So I'm going to be taking Dax through this one, and then he'll take me through it. So for this one right over here, if you have a partner, lie down on your back. If you don't have a partner, you're going to lie down and get your butt right up against the wall. So Dax, just face either that way or...
Okay.
Yeah, let's face actually on a 45.
Yeah, so everyone can see.
Yeah.
Right about here is good?
I'll face this way right.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so if you don't have a partner, then do it exactly the way that I'm doing it on him, only imagine that I am a wall. And if you do have a partner, then what you're going to do is take your partner's legs, you're going to flex their hips until they reach 90 degrees. If they have very, very poor hamstring flexibility, you can keep a slight bend in their knees. The most important thing for this one, you want to keep the sacrum pinned down to the ground. So we flex the hips to 90 degrees. You can put your toes underneath the sacrum to act as a biofeedback mechanism. So if you notice that they start to lose pressure, you can just move your toes around and that'll signal them to push down with their sacrum down to the floor. So from here, Dax is going to push the sacrum down to the floor. The coccyx you want to push into the wall. Then with the knees, you want to maintain maximum extension of the knees, maximum dorsiflexion of the toes. Go into inversion and internal rotation without letting the toes touch. Keep the extension of the toes. With the arms, you're going to bring them right out in front, maintain extension of elbows and wrists, maximum external rotation. Then bring the arms straight up overhead without touching the floor. Keep the arms shoulder width apart. The chin is going to be tucked in. You're pushing the crown of your head away from your body, the coccyx into the wall. So the crown of the head is going away, the coccyx is going into the wall. The heels are pushing up the wall, sacrum's pushing down. Heels up, sacrum down. Heels up, sacrum down. With the chin, keep that chin tucked in. Push the crown of the head away, the palms away from your body. The eyes, look down between your thighs to put the dura mater under tension. Up with the heels, down with the wall. Up with the heels, down with the sacrum. If you notice that they're losing pressure with the sacrum, just wiggle your toes. If your partner's eyes pop out of their heads, you wiggled your toes too much. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Keep that internal rotation a little bit. 10 more seconds. Keep the eyes open, look between the thighs. Up with the heels, down with the sacrum. Up with the heels, down with the sacrum. Away with the crown, into the wall with the coccyx. Away with the crown, into the wall with the coccyx. And one arm at a time. Flex it, bring it down onto the belly. Relax one knee at a time. And then roll onto your side. And that was it for the L5S1. Come out nice and slowly so you don't recoil. If you did this with a partner, you're going to swap places now. So whoever was guiding the partner, you're going to go on the floor, and the partner's going to take the turn gliding you.
Right. Excuse that one.
Yeah. So what we're doing for this one is, though, you're going to take your partner's legs and just flex their hips so that they're at 90 degrees. Once your hips are flexed at 90 degrees, you want to straighten out your knees as much as you can. So go into as much knee extension. If you want to put your toes underneath the sacrum to act as a biofeedback mechanism, you can do that. You're going to dorsiflex at the ankles, pseudo-inversion by going into inversion and medial rotation. Keep the chin tucked in. With your eyes, you're going to be looking down between your thighs. So you're pushing down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. With the palms, extension of elbows and wrists. Maximum external rotation. Bring the arms straight up overhead. And you're pushing down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Coccyx to the wall, crown of the head away. Coccyx to the wall, crown of the head away. Keep that chin tucked in. Push the crown of the head up. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Extension of the knees. Maximum dorsiflexion, internal rotation, and inversion. Push down with the sacrum. Keep that spine flat. Push out with the palms, out with the palms, out with the palms, up with the heels, down with the sacrum, up with the heels, down with the sacrum, up with the heels. Out with the palms, in with the coccyx. Out with the palms, in with the coccyx. 10 more seconds.
Yeah, you got it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One arm at a time, bring it out in front. And then one leg at a time, you are going to flex the knees, roll onto your side nice and slowly so you don't recoil. If you feel a little bit dizzy, just relax on the floor for a couple seconds. And that was it for the ELDOA class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are welcome. So this was Dax's first ELDOA class.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. All the little, adjustments. I really felt like I've been having some issues in my hamstrings lately. So the glute series, although I do hip thrusts, the changing the foot position and the spinal stuff really helped me to get deep into the, I guess, where you call acetabulum, where everything kind of connects.
Yeah.
Just great work. Great work.
Okay, perfect.
I truly enjoyed it.